LinkedIn presents.
This is the Forbes Books Podcast, conversations with incredible humans who are making a difference in the world of business and beyond. Hola, I'm Joe Pardavila, and this week the pod is going vegan. I'm spending time with Danielle Brown, the founder and CEO of HealthyGirl Kitchen and the author of the new cookbook, HealthyGirl Kitchen, 100 plus plant-based recipes to live your healthiest life. Danielle is a passionate vegan influencer with millions of followers on Instagram and TikTok who has made it her mission to show that plant-based eating doesn't have to be complicated or boring. She's here to share her secrets for building an online community, connecting with an audience, and of course, creating delicious, easy-to-make vegan recipes. Danielle, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm excited to talk.
I'm excited to talk to you because you have built such an empire in such a short time. It's really impressive, and I can't wait to talk about it. So first, let's talk about the context within you live in, which is vegan food. How big is this industry?
Yeah, so veganism and plant-based eating is growing tremendously. When I went vegan 8 years ago, it was not as cool. It definitely was not as mainstream as it is today. Now there are so many products. I think that the non-dairy milks outnumber the dairy milks on the shelf.
Wow.
There are constantly new vegan meats coming out. There are so many vegan and plant-based cookbooks on the rise. And I just think that people are starting to shift into this more flexitarian, plant-curious lifestyle where maybe they don't want to be full vegan, but they want to learn how to eat tofu. They want to know how to make a plant-based breakfast, maybe for their health, maybe it's for the environment, maybe it's an ethical purpose, but it is on the rise. And again, 8 years ago when I went vegan, really no one was doing it. I thought vegans were just hippies who smoked weed all day. So it is definitely up and coming and huge.
Wow. I love that term, flexitarian. And it's so funny, just listening to your voice, I'm reminded of the time I started the keto diet like many, many years ago, and paleo. Well, I did CrossFit. I did paleo first because I was doing CrossFit, and I think you're legally binded if you do CrossFit, you have to do paleo. And I remember at the time trying to find paleo products and you know, any kind of paleo cookbooks or anything like that. And this was maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. You couldn't find anything. Now you go to Costco, you are tripping over paleo and keto food. So it's amazing what you said, your 8-year journey in being a vegan. Can you tell me what brought you there? Was it, again, was it something about your health? Was it about being ethical? What was your reasoning behind becoming a vegan?
It's a good question. So I was a freshman in college at Michigan State University, and I was so excited to be unsupervised and without my parents. And if anyone isn't familiar, the dining halls at Michigan State University are basically like giant mall food courts, and they have all you can eat pasta bar, all you can eat pizza bar, all you can eat like soft serve machines on every corner. It's basically an 18-year-old's dream. And while this was fun for a semester, second semester started and I really started to feel the effects of eating so unhealthy and eating so much all the time. I was eating a lot of dairy. Again, the soft serve machines on every corner meant I was eating a lot of soft serve. So I noticed I started to feel really sick after meals. I'd get back to my dorm after eating and I'd have a stomach ache. I felt fatigued all the time. I'd have to take 3-hour naps after all of my classes. I had a really bad digestion. I had chronic heartburn that I suffered from every single day. And this is at a young age, 18 years old. I don't think that anyone should be suffering from heartburn in general, let alone when you're in college, when you're supposed to be the healthiest you've ever been.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I needed to make a shift and a change, and I wanted to get healthy. I had no idea where to start or what that meant. But upon doing research, I stumbled across a plant-based diet, and I started seeing all of these people's stories with all of these health benefits they were experiencing. And I decided to go for it. And keep in mind, I was in a dorm room with very limited resources, but I made the salad bar my best friend. I was microwaving sweet potatoes in my dorm room. I had a big fruit bowl in my room of non-perishable fruits and vegetables. And I just made it work for myself. And after about 4 months, I had lost 20 pounds. I felt amazing. I had more energy than ever before. my chronic heartburn went away and never came back. And my skin cleared up. Like all of these amazing things were happening. And I felt the best I ever felt. Aside from that, and all the health benefits I was experiencing, it was also, it became for the ethical purposes as well. Like I love animals and I really, the environmental benefits of going vegan are great as well. But really my health just took a complete 180. So
Wow.
I knew it was my mission and I had to make it my mission to help other people like I helped myself.
Amazing. And so when you start this journey, you said 4 months, you're seeing results. At that one point, and you're still in college, I mean, you're probably a freshman at this point. When did you realize this is going to be my mission, not just now for myself, but in life to help other people? When did that step come in the process?
Once I had experienced all of these benefits, I knew that I needed to teach people the secrets to eating plant-based meals that not only tasted amazing, but made them feel amazing too. I did not have any intention of becoming a food blogger, social media influencer. It honestly wasn't even as big at the time. Again, this was 8 years ago. But I knew that I needed to start with helping people. And so I went to Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is a nutrition school, and I became certified as a holistic health coach. And basically the program, I really liked it because it was half nutrition, but half business. And they taught you how to actually create a business, like a private health coaching practice.
Oh, wow.
And so I've always been interested in starting my own business, but I had zero business skills and I didn't major in business or anything in college. So that was really attractive to me. And they basically taught me how to run my own business. So long story short, I started my own health coaching practice where basically I was a nutritionist and I started getting clients, helping them get healthy. And I was teaching them how to eat plant-based. At the same time, I started posting on social media, but I started posting only really for my clients. So I was posting on Instagram. I started a little blog posting my recipes and I would just tell all my clients, hey, if you need recipes, just go to my social media. But my website started gaining thousands and thousands of people a month. I had a ton of website traffic, which eventually led to me being able to monetize that. I started getting Instagram followers. My Facebook page started growing. And that really opened my eyes to being able to start my business in that way and really showed me that you could make a living on social media. Because before I had no clue that you could make money on social media.
That's so cool. And, as you know, with a lot of entrepreneurs, branding is so important. When did you come up with the branding of HealthyGirl Kitchen? When did that become your brand?
Branding is everything. And I think I want to be transparent in that it didn't start as HealthyGirl Kitchen. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to start with like the perfect name, the perfect logo, the perfect everything. But I think it's really important to note that it's okay to evolve and it's okay to just start somewhere and things don't need to be perfect day one. And as your business grows and changes, like things will kind of work out as they're supposed to. So when I started my health coaching business, my name was actually Code Green Wellness, kind of just like a play on like green and plant-based, but it was much more businessy. I think it's a little bit even more masculine. And it's definitely more on like the wellness side. When I started gaining this big social following and started, I started my TikTok in 2020, that kind of blew up. I felt this disconnect between my personality and my brand and the name. And I was like, I have to change this name now before I get even bigger. Because keep in mind, I already was, I had a website that had, pretty high domain authority and, changing a website name and changing things around can be a little bit difficult. And I had already, media publications and websites mentioning me and news outlets. So I wanted to change the name before it got bigger. And I think I was just like showering one day and the Healthy Girl Kitchen came to my head. And I was like, that's so simple and so chic, but it's generic. It's totally taken. I'm like, it's cute, but I know the domain's going to be taken. I know the Instagram handle's going to be taken. And when I went to look, it was all available.
Wow.
And I knew it was a sign. I'm like, that's my name because it's so me. I'm just a healthy girl in my kitchen. And I think that I could picture other women relating to this as well. And I just felt like it fit my brand. It would resonate with people and it was simple. I think that in naming your company and in naming your brand, you need something that people can remember. If people are asking you, oh, hey, what's your website? Or hey, what's your Instagram? If you're saying something and they're like, wait, like, let me write that down. Or what did you just say? I can't write. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not going to be good. Simple, short, and something that people can remember. So I changed it to Healthy Girl Kitchen, and it kind of stuck.
Wow, that is such a great story. It actually reminds me. Do you remember the band The Fray, the guys that sang "How to Save a Life"? Yeah. I interviewed them years ago, and we're like, "What's the name? Where'd you get the name from, The Fray?" And it was around the time that every band had a website. And they said to us, well, when we were doing like availability for URLs, 2-word URLs were like, you couldn't get them anymore. And the only thing was available was The Fray. So it's funny in your case that no one had decided to use that terminology, Healthy Girl Kitchen. And did you like test it out to people? Hey, what do you think of this name? Did you go to your inner circle? Did you go to your outer circle? Like, how did you realize that, obviously you felt like you had the name and the brand, but did you go ask around to see people's thoughts on what Healthy Girl Kitchen meant to them?
A little bit. But I was so sure about it that I felt like I didn't need other people's approval. I did talk to my husband. He's a really big part of the Healthy Girl Kitchen team. He's a serial entrepreneur himself. I really owe a lot to him. He's a marketing genius, a marketing expert. So he's like a big part of the brains of Healthy Girl Kitchen, and he loved it. And then I told my mom, who's also worked in marketing her entire life, and she was a little hesitant. She's like, but like, you already have this following and people know you as Code Green Wellness and you already have this website with domain authority. And I'm like, I know I have an audience, but I'm like, it's not big enough yet where I think it will make a difference. I'm like, I know, and I can picture this being so much bigger than it already is. And if I'm going to do it, I need to change the name now. And I think sometimes hearing other people's opinions help you to make your own decision. Like sometimes your decision's already made up and your mind's already made up. And then when you ask someone their opinion, you're like, no, you know what? That reassured me that I need to go with my gut and I need to do what I was going to do. So
That's
I
awesome.
really didn't seek approval from too many other people, which I think is, again, important when you have your own business. Is like, sure, like use your resources, ask questions, use your inner circle and, people in the field to ask them things. But I think going with your gut and, if you're a smart business person and you trust yourself and you know that like, this is what you're good at, I think a lot can be said for trusting your instincts in your business.
So cool. And you mentioned your mom, and I'm curious if we could pull back the curtain a little bit. When you told your family, this is what I want to do, this is my job, this is going to be my career, my life's mission. And it sounds like you're a pretty confident person. So you knew what you wanted to do, but did people like, wait, what, Danielle, wouldn't you rather get like a 9-to-5 job, something a little steadier? Did you have any of that feedback from folks in your life?
No, I should say my parents have always been really supportive. I think where there's confusion from friends and family, and still to this day, the question I get is, well, how do you make money? Or like, well, that's really nice that like you can pursue your passion and like your husband supports you. Like, that's really nice that he can like, he makes the money and like you can cook and make your recipes. And so I think it's more of that, and people are just confused. I think because social media and working, I don't necessarily love the term influencer, but someone who makes content and grows a brand on social media, it's so new and it's so up and coming. And I think that more and more people by the day are growing their businesses and monetizing their businesses through social media. But there is that confusion from people, and not just from the older generation, but people my age are like, so can you just explain to me, like, where is your income coming from? So I think it's more confusion than like people not being supportive.
Oh, it's so funny. It's like, yeah, I mean, people are nosy, as you know, Danielle. So,
yes.
And I am as well. But when did you know that? Obviously, you saw the track that you were on the upswing. You decided to go with Healthy Girl Kitchen. When did you realize? Maybe it was even before you switched to Healthy Girl Kitchen. When did you realize this is it? Like, I don't have to worry about finding a job. I don't have to worry about another career. Like, if this is going to be my life. Did you have that sort of light bulb aha moment when you realize this is it?
Yes, but it was a little bit more gradual. I think when I signed with my now agency, Digital Renegades, their job is to make sure that I can partner with brands and grow my business in a way that, feels authentic to me. And I have to say, like, I really do. I love working with brands that I'm passionate about. And I really I always say I'm very picky about the brands that I work with just because I never want to post something or partner with a brand that, one, I would never use, a brand that I wouldn't stand behind or support. I just think that in the end, longevity and my audience trusting me and having that credibility is much more important than making a quick dollar, because I do know a lot of influencers in the space who will literally promote anything. But I really see Healthy Girl Kitchen being my job, as you said, for the long term. And so I'm very picky about the brands I work with, but to be transparent, it does allow me to make a large percentage of my income. So partnering with these brands, and my agency really focuses on long-term partnerships, because again, I don't just want to promote something one time. If I really love a brand, I'm like, look, like let's work with this brand for the long term, because if it's a product I love, it's like I'm using it all the time anyway. So with long-term partnerships, that allows me to have, security in my income. So awesome. Once I kind of discovered that aspect, and you're not, because you could just do one post, but then you don't know when your money's coming in next. So long-term partnerships. Also my website, my recipe blog, I'm partnered with AdThrive, which is just like a media company where you can, if you've ever scrolled through a website and seen an ad, can make revenue from ads on your website. So that also allows me to make an income. And I think that for any entrepreneur in general, or anyone having their own business, making sure you have multiple streams of income and kind of diversifying, that's helped me in knowing that I could do this for the long term.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And I know you know this, but many people don't realize that marketing people can be really lazy. So they'll send mass emails to folks. I would love to know this is true. Have you gotten pitched for a steak of the month or a meat product to put on your social? Because I can almost guarantee that the answer is yes, but please tell me that you've gotten that.
Every single day. I literally got an email, and these are also personalized emails, not just mass emails. Right. I get an email from a very large tuna company. Hi, we'd love for you to promote our canned tuna, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if you took 5 seconds to look at my profile, you would see that I am a vegan content creator. So yes,
my Lord.
Every day.
It's so funny because I still, to this day, I still get these like random pitches like, hey, we think this would be great for your podcast. I'm like, do you even know what my podcast is? It's like, it's so funny. Right. So I can imagine someone with your reach, you're going to get on some sort of mailing list that's like, oh, these people have X number of followers, so let's pitch them. So, all right, I'm glad I'm glad I'm not crazy in thinking that would be pretty common. You talk about partnerships, Walmart, Shark Ninja, a couple. When you get into these partnerships, what are the partners looking to get out of it?
I think really the benefits for brands working with content creators and influencers is, one, they have a very, very, very niche audience that they're able to target and pinpoint and market to. So they know, and I can tell them from my data, I can say, look, you would be marketing to women. My audience is like 93% women across all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, my website. I can give them age demographics. I can tell them, these are people who are not necessarily vegan, but they're really interested in healthy eating. They're interested in wellness. A lot of them are young moms or wanting to be a mom. So I have all of this information about them versus maybe, let's take a TV show like, something on TLC. You have a much broader range of individuals watching that one TV show versus someone's social media platform who can kind of pinpoint, and you have a much more niche audience. So I think that really, really helps. And I think Instagram stories are a really powerful tool for brands, because you can take a poll and you can almost run your own research studies and take polls on Instagram, and you can get your followers' opinions on things. And people love sharing their opinion. So the the amount of participation is tremendous. I could run a poll and say, would you rather, have me promote a vegan protein powder, or would you rather learn about healthy crackers? That's just a really random example, but I could then get 20,000 people voting on that poll, and that would kind of, help a brand decide. Or maybe the brand is like, hey, can you do a poll asking people like if they prefer vanilla or chocolate or mint chocolate chip or peanut butter? And I'm able to kind of do my own market research and provide this unique opportunity for brands and get research maybe that they might have not have gotten otherwise. I think also I've built a pretty big audience. It's 8 million people across all of my social channels who, again, very targeted, very pinpointed. And a brand doesn't necessarily have a social following. Just because they're a well-known brand, they might have 5,000 followers on social media. So it's really advantageous to them to partner with someone who they know whose audience would love their product, but they just need a little bit more exposure.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. And you mentioned the 8 million followers, and I remember reading somewhere that within the last year you've gained like 2 million. Is there something you're doing differently that you saw this big spike, or is it just sort of the evolution of the brand where just more and more people are catching on?
We experienced this shift, as you know, from picture to video, and short form video content has really dominated social media platforms. YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, now Facebook has Reels, and it's just a different way to show people content. And I think especially for recipe content, you learn so much more from a video than you're able to learn from a picture. If I post a picture of the finished product of a recipe, someone might be like, oh, that looks good. Okay, like that looks yummy. Like maybe I'll make it. But if you can post a video and actually show a tutorial on how to make it, the likelihood of someone making that recipe multiplies by a lot, because they were shown a tutorial. It's much more shareable. They feel like they can do it. So I thought to myself, if I can show people actually how easy it is to eat healthy and make healthy recipes that happen to be plant-based, then I think I can really reach people and grow a large audience of people who want to learn how to cook for themselves and make easy recipes, but simply because they watched a video, saw how simple it was, and they're like, oh, I have to follow her so she can teach me more.
Wow.
So I think learning how to make successful video content can change your brand overnight. Specifically learning how to make short form videos and learning how to keep an audience's attention. I think it's worth really, like, if you're thinking about investing in your business and thinking about what you can do to, get more followers, get more engagement, get more reach, make more money, learning how to post video content that will do that and get more engagement and get more followers is really going to change your business. So I would say whether that's you figuring it out yourself, or maybe that's hiring someone to make video content for you, it's a game changer. And I just think that the organic reach on video content is so much greater than pictures, just because within these platforms, the algorithms are favoring video content. So they're being pushed out to millions and millions of people for free. Like, you don't have to pay for this. I think that's the best part, is that people complain about these apps, but it's like, it's completely free. Where in the past, in order to advertise, maybe think of a Facebook advertisement or somewhere else, you have to pay for it. In order to be on the first page of Google, you have to pay for it. But these apps are completely free, and the organic reach right now is wild.
That is so cool. I love to talk to content creators about this, because they will spend 6 hours on a post that gets like very few likes, and then they'll post like a selfie and it'll get 10 million likes. Do you run into this issue where you're like, oh my God, I spent so much time and effort on this one thing, it got nothing, and then I posted this silly thing and it got 10 million likes? I mean, do you deal with that on a daily basis as well?
I feel like I used to more, and sure, now you never know how a video is going to do. Because I've now done it so much and I do it every day, I have a better idea of what videos are going to perform and what won't, in a general sense. But before, 100%. And this was happening to me. I'd maybe get 200 likes on a picture on Instagram when I had spent so much time and effort. I I went to the grocery store. I recipe tested. I styled a recipe. I took the time to do the photography. And now I'm like 10 hours in. I post the picture on social media and we get like 100 to 200 likes. Wow. And like nothing's really going to come of that. No followers, not really much engagement. And then when I started to post videos, that 200 likes turned into 2,000 likes.
Wow.
And then those 2,000 likes were able to get me more followers. And then, maybe a couple months later after posting, those 2,000 likes on a video turned into 10,000 and then 20,000. And now, my videos on average on Instagram get around no less than 1 million views per video. So I feel like I figured out this method on what people like, how to keep people's attention, and how to show people recipe content in a really relatable and approachable way.
Wow. Well, outside of the random emails you get from marketing people, I'm sure one of the many messages you get from people or people you don't know is, Danielle, how do I get 6 million followers? How do I do it? What is your long and short answer to that? And when I get hit up on this, when people ask me about, how do I grow a podcast? I'm like, just do it. Do it for 10 years and then you get it. As you did it for 5 or 6 years before it really kicked in. What kind of advice do you give to people when it comes to growing their presence online?
I think overall people are really impatient. They post 2 videos and they're like, they didn't work and I didn't get followers. And, people say that it works, but it doesn't. So I'm just going to give up. Mm-hmm. I think you really need to not worry about the followers. They will come if you're putting out consistent, good content. If you post, let's say 100 videos and you're still not really seeing much change, adjust your strategy. You might need to update your content. You need to look at where things are wrong. Ask your friends, ask people's opinion. Hey, what do you think of this video? What can I do to make it better? Reach out to other people in your space and say, and people who you admire, people whose content you like, and say, hey, what do you think I could do to make my videos better? I think that people would be much more open to speaking with you than you'd think. So I think one is just not having that be the goal and shifting your mindset to not thinking, how can I get more followers, but how can I provide value to people? And how can I provide something that's educational, something that's funny, something entertaining, something inspiring? What are you giving to people? Does your video provide them any kind of value? And you need to be able to answer that question. So I know for me, I'm like, okay, I'm teaching people how to make a recipe. It's completely free. It makes sense. And does your caption have something? Are you providing something in your voiceover? Every aspect of the content needs to provide value. So if your content, let's say I post a sandwich recipe and I left my caption as just a heart, that doesn't provide anything. Instead, I'm posting the full recipe, or I'm telling people where they can get it. If I say full recipe completely free on my website, or it's in my cookbook that's coming out, let people know where they can find it. Or if you're posting wellness content and you're posting a picture of you on the treadmill, post in the caption 10 tips on how to get healthier, 10 free workout tips from you. And so that's the caption. Then you have the video, which also should be providing value. Then I think the voiceover tool on video content is super underutilized. You can say so much in a voiceover that's different than what you're saying in the caption and different than what you're showing in the video. So really take advantage of all of the features that you can on short form video content. And then I think other than that, thinking about the video and your whatever content you're posting from someone else's perspective. So step outside yourself for a second and say, okay, imagine I'm just a person and I get this video on my feed. I'm going to watch it from someone else's point of view. That is what I do with every single video. And if I think in my head, it's a little hard to understand my voiceover, I'll redo the voiceover so it's clearer. If the words on the screen go by too fast, I'll adjust them. If I'm not able to read them that quickly, then other people aren't going to be able to read them that quickly.
But Danielle, that seems so hard. Can't I just get 6 million followers by just posting a selfie? Come on, that's so hard.
I know. It's a lot of work. It is hard. It is hard. And I think people want everything to be easy and they want a quick fix. One of the number one questions I get is, so what hashtags should I use in order to get followers? And I'm like, your hashtags are the sprinkles on the cake. You need to make the foundation, which is the video, and you need to focus on everything else, the frosting, which is like your caption and everything else. And then you have some extra little bonuses. Sprinkles don't make or break a cake. Neither do hashtags on a post. They just help more people find your videos and maybe help an app categorize what kind of video or picture it is. But people really do want a quick fix. And I would say patience is key, but I think that applies to any aspect of business and growing a successful, like no one really becomes successful overnight.
Yeah. You mentioned your cookbook, and you are already a best-selling author, and it's not even out yet. You are taking pre-sale. So tell me about why now was the time for the Healthy Girl Kitchen cookbook.
Honestly, I needed the cookbook to be out like a year ago, but here we are. Books take a long time, and I wanted to pour my heart and soul into this book. I know I'm like newly learning this, that a lot of recipe creators hire out everything. So they hire someone to write their book, they hire someone to develop their recipes, they hire someone to do the pictures, and like their name is just on it, which like fine, like if that works for them, great. I really wanted to be a part of every single aspect of the book. So
but we did hard, Danielle.
It is so hard. I know it was a lot of work, but my husband and we did all the photography. So I would style and he would do the pictures, and I developed every single recipe myself. Wow. I wrote every page, everything about the book. So I really wanted to be involved in every part. And I wanted the book to just reflect everything that I've posted on social media thus far. And I wanted to make the book a cookbook that people would actually use. I think people get cookbooks and it sits on a shelf, and maybe once a year on like a holiday, they're like, people are coming over. What should I make when they come? And they, kind of look through the book and they're like, that seems kind of hard. Never mind. I wanted the book to be realistic. I wanted people to keep it on their counter. I want, like, for example, I have a dinner section and it's called Dinner. Never wonder what to make for dinner again. Because I think a lot of people get to dinner and they're like, I'm tired from work. I don't know what to make. I have everything: breakfast, lunches, desserts, the easiest desserts in the world, snack ideas. But everything is simple and easy for someone who they want to learn how to eat healthy. They want to maybe learn how to eat plant-based, but they don't have time. They're super busy. And I think everyone's busy. Like no matter what you're doing, where you are in life, whether you have a business, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, people are busy. And so these recipes are super, super realistic, and you don't have to have any kind of like formal training. I'm not a chef. I never went to culinary school. I'm just a girl who likes to cook. So these recipes really can be done by anyone. And, I feel honored to be publishing the book with Penguin Random House. I wanted to wait to a point where I felt like I could work with a publisher who I really felt super proud to work with. And when they reached out to me, I had kind of been like manifesting the whole book deal for a long time. And I keep a sticky note on my computer with my long-term goals and then kind of short to-do tasks for every day that kind of lead to those long-term goals. And for the longest time, I had on there in my long-term goal list, write a best-selling plant-based cookbook. And so when I got an email from my senior editor and asking me to, explore a book deal with Penguin Random House, I really that was like one of I think the best moments of my career. Cause I'm like, everything I've worked towards has led to this. And I really wanted to, kind of expand outside social media and bring a cookbook to people.
Well, you could check that one off the bucket list, the best-selling plant-based cookbook. Can I predict one for you? I have a feeling I'm gonna try to imagine what's on that sticky pad in front of you. Is it a line of Healthy Girl Kitchen foods available at grocery stores all over the planet?
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
You're a terrible liar, Danielle. That is so on your chalkboard right now. No, that's awesome, Danielle. This sounds really cool. All right, last question. I am not a vegan or have a plant-based diet. What is a introduction food to get me into trying a plant-based diet? Whether it's, like you said, flexitarian, what's something that's easy breezy that will be sort of welcome to my palate that's not used to a vegan diet?
I think that it's not as complicated as people think, but one of my favorite go-tos are lentils. People don't eat enough lentils, and they're packed with protein. They're packed with fiber. and they can really be turned into so many things. Two of my favorite ways to use lentils are one, making like a meat sauce for a pasta and like a bolognese type of sauce. And you basically I buy pre-steamed lentils from Trader Joe's because again, I'm busy, not a ton of time. And you basically saute it and mix it with marinara sauce. There's like a more detailed version of that in my cookbook, but lentils, marinara sauce, saute, maybe some garlic, maybe a little wine, and then you just pour it on top of pasta. It's a 10-minute dinner, and it gives you that like heartiness and meatiness of a meat sauce. I grew up, my mom always made like spaghetti and meat sauce for dinner, so that was like my version of my mom's. And then my second favorite recipe with lentils that we always make are tacos, but we do lentil taco meat. So instead of sauteing up like ground beef or ground turkey with even just like a packet of taco seasoning from the grocery store, you can use lentils and saute it with the taco seasoning, and it makes a delicious like ground beef alternative. And you can do like enchiladas, quesadillas, it can be in a burrito, and it's delicious.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know lentils were like the MacGyver of vegan food. That's pretty impressive. I had no idea you could do all that.
Yeah, they're the best.
Wow,
and cheap. Cool. I think a lot of people too right now, grocery prices are super high. A lot of people think that eating healthy and eating vegan is super expensive. Lentils, let me tell you, this huge pack that I get at Trader Joe's, I think it has like 4 or 5 servings. It's like $2.99, where I'm telling you, if you're getting your protein from a salmon or like a grass-fed beef from Whole Foods, it's going to be a lot more expensive than that.
Awesome. That's great. Well, Danielle, super exciting stuff. The cookbook, your social media channels are just impressive. Where do you suggest when someone's like meeting for the first time, where's the best place to be introduced to Danielle Brown? Is it TikTok, Instagram, your website? Where do you want people to check you out first?
All of the above, but I would say my Instagram at HealthyGirl Kitchen. I love it because you have Instagram stories, so you can see like what I'm up to on the day to day. I don't just post recipes, I post lifestyle, but I'm able to link things, and I'm like very interactive and active on there. But otherwise, I'm Healthy Girl Kitchen everywhere else. TikTok, Healthy Girl Kitchen. My website with all kinds of free recipes and resources, healthygirlkitchen.com. And my book is like anywhere where you can buy books, Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
Awesome. Danielle, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Congrats on all your success and the new baby. You've got the new book, Healthy Girl Kitchen, 100 plus plant-based recipes to live your healthiest life, dropping on May 16th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that wraps up a green episode of the Forbes Books Podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love it if you could leave us a review so more amazing entrepreneurs like yourself can discover the show. You can always connect with me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Joe Pardavila. And please don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.